name's Connor. I'm with Bluebirds Unlimited in Westchester and Springboro, Ohio. Today I'm going to talk about how to attract eastern bluebirds to your yard. The best way to get eastern bluebirds is to have nest box up. They rely a lot on man-made nest box, and they'll look for them in people's yard. This one is a recycled plastic material. They also make them in wood and some other materials as well. This one has a easy clean side, a part on the top that you can observe to help monitor your bluebirds, and then it also has a fledgling ladder for when they're done nesting for the babies to fledge. It's on a typical part of our pole system. You can use any pole. Usually 5 to 6 feet is an ideal height. This one has a 8-inch raccoon baffle on it. It's a good idea to baffle your poles to keep predators and things like that out. But poles are ideal versus like trees or anything like that, just because you can help keep the bluebirds a little more safe. And then this one I have facing east against prevailing winds. A lot of winds from the north tend to be worse, so I have that one going east. Over here, we're going to walk and I'll show you a Sparrow Resistant nest box. Again, on a typical pole. This one is also about 5 feet high. It has this slot box entrance. This one's made out of wood, but the slot is less appealing to house sparrows, as well as this one has a shallow nesting cavity, which is not as appealing to house sparrows, which can be problematic in bluebird boxes. So this one, while not sparrow proof, can definitely help, especially having multiple boxes, keep house sparrows out of your box, because it can be very tedious to keep cleaning your boxes out to keep house sparrows and to encourage those bluebirds up. So Sparrow Resistant. I'm going to add a baffle to this one too. I just haven't done it yet. My bluebirds just did start establishing territory in my yard, and they've been checking out all my boxes. I put this other one up a day ago actually, and they've been checking that one out. So having nest boxes up though is a great way to get the bluebirds to your yard. And then also if you can plant native plants in native landscaping, they really like anything that's going to encourage bugs. They're insectivores, so they will eat a lot of insects. And then also, there's actually a pair of bluebirds flying above my head right now, sorry. But they're insectivores, and they also eat fruit and berries too. So if you can have some fruiting trees, especially stuff in the winter, that helps get your bluebirds year round. A lot of times in the winter, we're phasing out of that period now. They'll form big foraging groups, and you can get them at your feeders too. A lot of times people will get them at their feeders, but don't get them to nest because they don't have nest box up, or maybe the right habitat, that kind of thing. They usually like more of like an open woodland setting. So I have a lot of mature trees in my yard, and there's some mature woods over there, so it's a pretty good bluebird yard. But yeah, if you can plant native trees and plants in your yards, that's another good way too. Down here we're going to talk about some kinds of food that you can use to attract them. So here we have a couple kinds of food. These are dried mealworms, and like I said, bluebirds are insectivores, so they really like these to help supplement their diet, when they're catching insects. But a lot of times you'll see them in your yard catching caterpillars and all kinds of different stuff. These are live mealworms, so usually I'll put these out in the morning or in the evening because they eat them pretty quickly, and I use those, the dried, more as a supplemental food. I'll show you a couple kinds of feeders. So this feeder over here is it's one of our seed cylinder feeders. Bluebirds basically just need anything kind of open that they can perch on to access food. So anything like this, but this is one of our seed cylinder feeders. I just repurposed it with the universal mealworm dish, and it has dried mealworms in it. So they'll come to this. I actually have one on my porch too, and they've been coming to that one all day. And then this is if you're having issues with starlings. A lot of the food that bluebirds like, starlings love too. So this has a barrier cage on it to keep some larger birds out, and the bluebirds can still access the food. So those are two examples of bluebird feeders. And then this one has some dried mealworms in it as well, but I put some sunflower chips and bark butter bits and peanuts in there too. They'll eat some seed too. Like I said, they're mostly insect eaters, but they will eat a few kinds of seed, and then they'll eat the fruit as well, but yeah, insects primarily. And if you can, get them at least eating, that can help. But first thing I would start with is a nest box, and then kind of move from there. Now, like I said, is a great time to get them up. They are getting ready to establish their nesting tory. I mean, a lot of people have maybe had some bigger groups, but now is when they're competing and kind of taking up where they're going to brood. So I've had my bluebirds check out all my boxes already. I have a male and a female. Actually, two females yesterday got in a really vicious fight, I would say, over which territory they're, who gets the territory and the male. So while they're in groups in the winter and they're in groups at your house right now is when they'll start breaking off. So there's a bluebird actually singing right there, but show it over towards the deck. But yeah, if you could get the feeders up in a house, that's your best bet to try and get a bluebird to your yard. Again, I'm Connor. Thanks for watching. Hope you get some bluebirds in your yard.